Hi babes, welcome to The Pleasure Portal, a podcast for women desiring to embody their fierce, wild, feminine magic, reclaim their deepest soul desires, and unleash the passion, pleasure, and fulfillment they know in their bones is their birthright. I'm your host, Kelsey Grant, a love, intimacy, and relationship educator and pleasure alchemist. I'm curious, has your pleasure ever been on the back burner? Have you ever felt like your pleasure doesn't matter? Have you experienced your feminine power being minimized, ignored, or suppressed? If so, this is the place for you. Because in this podcast, we're writing a whole new story together. We're a community of fierce femmes who are done with the binds of repression. We're the women who desire a pleasurable sex life, sacred connection with ourselves, and intimate partnership with another without having to give up or hide parts of who we are. We're the modern witches who, until now, have had to hide or suppress our sacred gifts. Together, we're unhooking from the binds that mute our greatest expression. We're dialing up that turn-on full tilt. We're creating right relationship with our emotions, our power, our enchantment alchemy, and our womb wisdom. Each episode, I'll bring to you a mix of pleasure alchemy, embodiment education, love, sex, and relationship insights, and ultimately an invitation home to your fierce feminine magic. We are reclaiming it all. Down and in we go. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm very excited today to bring you this special episode with my lovely friend, Charlie Poitras. She is such a powerhouse. Her focus, at least business-wise, is in fierce leadership, which really boils down to anchoring in a relationship with your power and your agency, and coming at your life from a place of choice and from a place of sovereignty and alignment that is so prevalent in the work that she does. And it is something that really resonates with me and my core value of radical self-responsibility. So, of course, I am jazzed to bring this conversation to you. And before we get into the episode today, I wanted to share with you an event that Charlie's hosting at the end of May that yours truly will be doing a segment inside of. So her event is called the Fuel Your Mission Retreat. Basically, it's like a spa day for your soul. We're doing an online well-being retreat with a couple different speakers, a couple different segments. I will be doing a segment on self-love and boundaries, which is some of my favorite content to be going through and to be teaching on. And the event is May 29th. It's a Saturday event, which so great. We can all hang out and have a spa soul day together. And I will be on in the afternoon, but there are so many incredible women that are speaking on this panel and speaking in this event. So if that is something that is intriguing to you, especially after this conversation that you listened to with Charlie and I, you can head to the show notes, and the link to check out the event and to purchase your spot will be in the show notes. And if depending when you're listening to this, you might still be able to catch the early bird pricing. And if so, awesome. If not, we still would love you to show up and be part of the magical container that we are going to be generating on that day. So as we prepare to drop into this episode on the journey of consent, the exploration of agency, and my favorite, sex magic, it is really, really, really important that you just take a beat, take a moment to check in with yourself. Make sure that you're really ready for this conversation. If you have had any sexual trauma, if you have any sexual wounding that still flares up from time to time, I really want you to just tune in with yourself and make sure that you're in a position to be able to really hear and hold the content of this episode with, really, really, really tuning into what is actually best for you right now. Because this conversation will always be here. And you don't need to force yourself into a conversation that you're not quite ready for or that your system's not ready for. And I really want you to respect that line for yourself. And if you do continue on into listening into the conversation, you will hear parts of our story where both of us share where we have experienced a little bit of sexual trauma or sexual wounding. So that could come up in your experience, where it might be mirroring your experience with ours. So first priority, take care of you, honor you. And if you have to, take a few tries to get through the episode, I totally get it. And I would completely recommend that. If you need to stop it partway through to really stay tuned and connected to your system, that's what I want you to prioritize, so that you are really in your power, you are really in your body, you are honoring what your experience needs. So with that said, we're going to get started. It's a juicy conversation. There's laughter, there's magic, there's deep exploration, there's a lot of vulnerability, and of course, so many giggles. And as always, if the episode was helpful for you, feel free to share it with someone else who might also really benefit from listening to this conversation. And I am just so grateful that you're here, and let's dive in. All right. Hi, and welcome to the Pleasure Portal. Today we have Charlie Poitras, and she is my soul sister. We've also recently discovered that we should probably just be wives and get married because we have so much alignment with each other.
You announced our union already. This is moving so quickly.
It's moving so fast for us.
Buy me dinner first, but I like it.
Yeah, we honestly, just jamming with you and our text threads just bring me so much joy, and they really bring me back home into myself. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to share you with my audience so that they get a little snippet of all of the magic that I get to experience with you on a regular basis. So thank you so much for saying yes.
Oh, you're welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. And what's really cool is, as an adult woman making new sister friends, it can sometimes be like, how do you navigate this space? But I've been feeling like, I don't know, just discovering you and discovering the space between us has been such a nice flow, and it's warm and it feels really comfortable. And every new little thing I discover about you and about our alignment is just like, hey, what? My mind's being blown. And oh my gosh, so cool. I'm digging it, the discovery.
Me too. I also want to, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I told this to our mutual friend, Allie, last night. When we first met in person, it was at our friend India's dance class. And I think we'd been orbiting each other on social media, but we hadn't met in real life yet.
Yeah.
And so I walk into the dance class and I actually saw you at the front of the class, and I was like, fuck, that girl is so fucking hot. And I couldn't stop looking at you. And my whole system is just turned on watching you in your radiance. And then afterwards you came up to me and you're like, hey, want to be friends? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny, because actually what I said to you was, hi, I fangirl you on Instagram and this feels really weird and I want to be your friend.
I know.
That's awesome. You've never told me that before. I love knowing that.
Yeah, it was so special. And then it took me maybe 20 minutes after I left the dance class to put two and two together that, oh wait, I know who she is. Where have I been? Hashtag 2020. I don't know where I am these days.
I feel you.
So it was just, I love that the first time we met was in India's dance class, because it is such a safe space to be in our feminine embodiment, but also our pleasure. And so much of that class is just, really being in the body and exploring movement in a way that feels good and unique to your system. And so you from what I observe in you, like you really do master that. Like when you go into that class, you really are in your body and you do the movement in the way that works for you. And I feel that as someone who's in the room with you. And then it gives me more permission to drop further into my body and express how the movement wants to express through me. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's our origin.
Thanks. Yeah, that is our origin. And you know what I also really love about that is, first of all, I don't even know how I found India. I don't even know how I found her classes, but I wandered into one of her classes after a breakup last year in December. And I was really raw. And I remember I walked into her class and I walked right up to her and I was like, I'm hurting and I need to be here right now. And I need to find my way back to myself. And I think this is where I need to do it. And I'm like emotional thinking about that because this synchronicity of finding that class. And I have found myself, finding my way back to myself. But what I love is that, like, again, it's just so odd. You and I find each other in that class. And it's like, how is this all happening? This magic space, this just vortex of pleasure and connecting with the people that are bringing this like unexpected light to our lives. It's
totally
pretty special.
Yeah, she definitely has generated a pleasure portal with that offering. 100%.
Hell yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
it makes sense that we would find each other in there. And like so many of the women and the people that I've met through Strut Club, like really do fit this similar energy signature of like, pleasure is the priority here and the reclamation of self. And it's interesting that you went to her class after a breakup because that's how I found her too.
Wow.
I was like 6 months out of like a gnarly breakup. And I'm like, I know that I need this medicine. Like this is the medicine that I need. And the first class back, I'm like, I felt like my whole system being rebooted. And that was 4 years ago, I think. Yeah, just over 4 years ago.
Wow.
Like so special. So again, another thing that we have in common. What a shocker.
Yeah. So good. Shocker.
Shocking.
Yeah. Just discovering it's like, oh, you're a Leo. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm a Leo rising. Oh yeah. That's probably why we love each other. Oh, I'm a Scorpio. Oh, I'm a Scorpio sun.
Yeah.
Where will it end?
I know. Well, I think this is, part of the mystery and the magic. We're going to keep exploring like these nuances to our connection. And I love that because it really does feed that core value I have of variety. And so there's something new and interesting that happens in every conversation that we have, which is so fun for me. And it really does feel pleasurable to connect with you. And even like your content online, whenever I see it, whenever I read it, I'm like, ooh, this feels good to read or to watch or to see. And so like, let's just, you're very welcome. Let's let the audience know a little bit more of like who you are and what you get up to in the world and like why pleasure is a priority for you.
Yeah. Well, my background's in entrepreneurial coaching. So I identify as a clarity coach and conscious leadership developer, but I started working with entrepreneurs who made 6, 7, 8 figures. I slipped and tripped into a coaching company when I was in my mid-20s, and I ended up getting a job there working in the back end, and they promoted me after I hosted a speaking event there after 4 months of being there. So here I am, like, dyed blonde hair, red lipstick, 20 something. And now I'm coaching these entrepreneurs and I'm supporting them in achieving work-life balance, connecting to themselves, really streamlining and learning to trust so they can delegate. And so I got trained and developed at this place that taught people to trust, that taught them confidence in themselves and really guided them in that direction. And I felt this calling in a spiritual, holistic direction where it's like, my intuition is really powerful and I want to bring my own natural self-expression into the coaching space while making it accessible to everyone, not just people who are making 6, 7, 8 figures. Right. But I'm very, very connected to the people who are out to make a difference, who want to use their pain and turn it into grace as some kind of contribution in the world, who want to find a conscious way to lead in the world. So I have a couple of different areas of focus. So I work with leaders who run businesses and have teams, and I empower their leadership so that they are servant leaders, heart-centered leaders, leaders that are really connected to their authentic self, their highest self. And then I also work with aspiring leaders, people who have some new level of confidence that they want to birth into the world, some level of power where they're like, I know there's something in there and I don't know how to find it, or I knew it was there before and I can't find it again. And so that's what I love. And for me, there's so many nuances to the work that I do. Like there's manifestation, and there's self-expression that's unleashed, and there's a higher level of confidence. And for me, pleasure is just the baseline to everything. It is, if you can find that as a foundational ground to stand on in everything that you do, is like your life is a prayer, your life is a devotional act, and it becomes this vibration that you're just in, and it feeds everything. It's just like the source of everything. And so I really wasn't always like that in my own life. I had to really like classic Scorpio, just burn the whole thing down a couple times. You know, I'm just like, you know what, this is not working for me anymore. Light the match. Let's go torch it. You know, I was in a life. I feel like I've lived a lot of lives, but 10 years ago, I was married. I worked at this company. I lived in Toronto in this condo, and I had this like, you know, whole life there. And I looked around at one point and I was just like, I'm lost here, and none of it feels like me. And there are things that I'm not listening to, that are desires that I'm not moving forward with. So like I said, I left everything. It was one of the hardest decisions that I had ever made. And also one of the most beautiful, rewarding, incredible, magical things that I have ever done for myself. And then, you know, that's where I really started to true myself up. What's really important to me, and who do I really want to serve, and making myself the center of that service.
Yes. Okay. So if you're making yourself the center of that service, like what are some of the devotional practices that you have on a regular basis that really help bring you into that embodiment of pleasure, which then obviously trickles into the work that you do?
The main mantra that I have in my life is to create space. And so a huge priority for me is slow pleasure, having the space in my life to fill it with what brings me joy. And that is a barrier, I think, for a lot of people, because they're so tightly packed that there's no space for pleasure. And so I don't schedule myself too tightly. I have slow mornings with slow coffee, and I, you know, just drink it all in. And I make sure that my environment is vibrating super high. You know, I am just surrounding myself with all of the things that make me happy and bring me joy. I have a hammock swing, and I just like to just play as we've talked about play before. As like, play is my love language. And it's like, if I can laugh 80 times a day and just be in my own presence. And the other thing that I've been doing lately, I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but I've been feeling, you know, I have these dates with God, and it has just been so miraculous. And what that looks like is just being so present in the moment that I'm in, and connecting to source energy, whether I'm beside the ocean or I'm sitting in my bed reading, and I'm like intentional about, I'm having a date with God right now. And I almost have this gratitude and appreciation for everything that shows up around me. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's treating me so good right now. Like,
oh, I love that. I love it so much.
And I'm like, oh my God, he just brought me a big bouquet of ducks floating in the ocean. Like, your man doesn't do that for you. I don't even know where this accent just came from, but it's
Oh my
happy.
gosh, that is so great. And I love that you do that. I have a similar practice, and even though I call it like communing with the universe, but like it's like really taking stock and I have to be so present throughout my day to do this. But I'm like, oh wow, look at the thing that the universe just brought me. Like the universe is taking care of me in this way. Like, oh, that feels so good. Yeah. And I mean, I also bring it into my self-pleasure practice, like in terms of my sacred masturbation, like, and I really imagine and feel the energy of the universe being penetrated into me.
It's beautiful.
And those orgasms are unlike anything else I have ever experienced in my entire life, because I'm literally being fucked by God. And
I love that for you.
It's so beautiful, and it feels really nourishing in the body. But then I also have to balance it out with, you know, my day to day of like noticing like what is being gifted and what I am receiving, and the magic that is around me that, you know, is being provided. And so I love that you have such a similar practice with that as well.
I don't think enough people, my eyes are watering for, I don't think enough people realize the immense portal that opens during orgasm. And like, and I say people, but like, I'm talking about the kings I'm calling in here is just, can we just align on the fact that miracles happen and the most powerful manifestation ever happens, and you have access to such power, such immense power during that time of like, just like the sex magic and the creation that can happen. And, you know, as you were telling me about your ritual, like, or your sacred masturbation and everything, I remember reading this quote and it's just so hit me. It's like, if you are someone that can masturbate or, you know, orgasm without any external like stimulation, like porno or whatever, if you can come just with your imagination and the energy you're generating, you're way too powerful. And it was just like, that is what's up. 100%. It is. It's powerful as hell.
It really is. Anytime that I want to manifest something, I use sex magic. And what I love about it is, like, in a peak state of energy, like orgasm, I can only connect to what is truly on purpose for me. I can only connect to the desires that are clean for my heart and my soul's path. Like, if, let's say, making $1 million is literally the most aligned and on purpose thing, then I'll be able to access that. But if it isn't, like if it's coming from a different part of me that isn't so on purpose, I won't be able to access that desire when I'm in a peak state of orgasm. And so it's been such a good ritual to really learn like what is truly on purpose for my soul, and to really start attuning to just the different types of desires that my human experience will, you know, be drawn to. And like, oh, all right, let's sit with that. Let's play with it. And if I can think of it in a peak state of orgasm, then great. Like, I know that that's one I got to keep, and I got to keep close and really anchor it down. And, you know, so when people get like really kind of twisted about this of like, oh, well, what if you like manifest something that's like really not for you? I'm like, you can't. You literally can't think of it. Like your brain will not let you go there if it's really off purpose for you. And that's how you'll know.
Yeah. So important to know how to just like cozy into those good feelings and to allow yourself to be drawn to like, oh yeah, that feels good. And no, that doesn't feel, and that's literally my brain during that masturbation time is like, it's like a Rolodex. It's so funny. It's like, oh, what about that? No, that's not a good feeling. No. Okay. No, I want to keep that. Yeah. Yes. More of that.
Totally.
Like, and I'm thinking about amounts of money. I'm thinking about types of clients. I'm thinking about the king I'm calling in, you know,
100%.
New pair of shoes, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever is on purpose in that moment.
Whatever's on purpose.
I love that. But like, even just having that discernment of like, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. Like, and we talked before the episode of how important consent is.
Oh,
And,
yes.
moving into like bigger conversations on consent in the dating space or in the sexual space, like it starts, in my opinion, with knowing what is a yes or no for you moment to moment.
Yeah.
And when we really can start to flex that muscle and get really, really attuned to, well, what's just a yes for me right now and what's a no for me right now. And that becomes more familiar in ourselves. It's so much easier to then learn the communication skills that are required to communicate consent. And then also the relational skills that are required to receive consent and like to really be respectful of someone else's limits or boundaries. So I'd love to jam with you on that topic of consent, some of your experiences, and let's dive in.
Let's dive in. I think that my belief and from my experiences in my own life and with my clients is this idea of we actually delegate our agency and our autonomy from a really young age because we're looking for guidance, we're looking for advice. What should I do? What shouldn't I do? And this is the trouble that comes up, I think, in like the personal development and coaching spaces, because people are looking for advice externally so much that they still continue on that path, looking external for the answers. And I love to train people to redirect the agency and own the autonomy and the sovereignty and really connect to it again, because that's how we can learn what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And from my experiences, when it comes to consent, I didn't even know that was a luxury that I could partake in.
Right.
In my younger years, especially, but this has happened, I would say, like even more recently, but in my younger years, before I really started dive into my work, consent and not being given the option of like being able to opt in. And I'm talking about, let's just even say like in a sexual manner or romantic relationship, people just, my mindset was like, I just do the thing and go with it. Right. And that just so doesn't work. It's so damaging. And, for myself, I just didn't even realize that was happening. Right. I didn't even realize I was doing that. And it caused a lot of emotional and relational trauma that has been my glorious work to heal and work through. And, it's so funny because this shows up for me in my life on a daily basis. Like there's some really amazing courses, like tons of different courses out there, but I did a Wheel of Consent program, and it talks about and teaches you like just reconnecting to self and what feels good and what doesn't feel good and what is consent and how does that whole dynamic work about being someone who can allow and receive and ask for or take, and how often you take and how often you allow and all of those different things. And it was so great to shine a light on it because it had me realize it's like, wow, asking for what I want and making powerful requests isn't something I was doing a whole lot of. And then being given the luxury and the option to allow, it's like I was just being taken from and not being asked and just going along with things. And so, funny story, because I was, I went and got these new bangs. And while I was getting my haircut, I'm sitting there and my stylist, who's like a 6'7" jolly giant, amazing, Maxfield Palmer, I think that's his last name. Yeah, Maxfield. He works at Brush Lawn. Shout out to him. But he's like the 6'7" jolly giant gay man. And he's cutting my hair. And we're having the best time. He's Leo rising too. And so he's cutting my hair. And then he goes, I'm just going to take some of I would like to take some of the weight out of the back of your hair. Is that okay? And girl, I was like, am I turned on right now? Like, because as hairstylists and people, I'm just used to them just being like, oh, I'm just taking some weight out of the back. I'm just doing this. And the fact that he like checked in with me and then kept on saying like, thank you and please the whole time. I'm like, okay, number one, so consent's so sexy.
So sexy.
Number two, that's sad. Like in a way, not to judge but it is sad when I think it's not that it's sad, but it's shining a light on so much that's missing right now. Because if consent turns us on, like the simple act of being given respect and autonomy over our bodies and over what we want to do and not do, and that is a turn on, we've got some work to do.
100%. Yeah.
like okay. Like the chair. I was like, okay, call me. Wait, no, don't. No.
Yeah, like it's so wild that like this, and I feel the same way. Like when someone asks permission before they do something, like my whole body, even if it's not a yes for me, what they're asking for, like my body feels safe, my body feels respected, and there is an element of turn on, maybe not like sexual turn on, or like I'm not interested in doing that thing, but I feel like really connected to that person and like the respect and dignity that I deserve. Like I also see that in them in those moments, and it starts to build this beautiful bridge of human connection. But our world is so fucking fractured right now. Yeah. And it's such a relational mess. Like I think a lot of the things that are coming to light, like so necessary for all of this shadow material to be brought into the light. It's a lot. It is a lot for our systems to manage. But it's so necessary because things like consent, especially over our body. And, you know, as someone who is a woman, like that, like yourself, like I haven't always been given that respect and that dignity. You know, and I remember like one of my first ever sexual experiences was I was 13 and we were at some wave pool with like a group of friends, and I was in a hot tub with said group of friends, and one of the guys pulled me onto his lap and then shoved his fingers inside of me.
Wow.
In a public fucking hot tub.
Wow.
I'm like, this is my first imprint of what it means to be a sexually, you know, active woman, really. Yeah. And so that imprint then shapes so much of what comes next in, you know, the decades to follow of like, well, my body isn't mine and anyone can take it at any point in time. And like, thank God, I know the internet is kind of a disaster sometimes, but I'm also really grateful for it because without the internet, I wouldn't have learned that, you know, I have autonomy, I have sovereignty, I have some power, I have a lot of power over what I do allow and what I don't allow. And, you know, there are things that I can say and do to create the conditions for consent and to also really reinforce what is and is not okay. But that took some time to get there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I'm sorry you had that experience, and thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And, you know, my experience is, if I look back at patterns too, it's been a lot of manipulation of like, I just remember like, well, if you don't French kiss Ken, then you're square. And if you don't do this thing, then these people, and then it was just, it was such a wound of, I won't be loved if. And chasing after filling that and making sure that it's like, I'm accepted and I'm loved and I belong and I'm okay and I matter. And it's, you know, really being able to shine a light on that and see it for what it is. Now there's nothing more irritating than someone even attempting to pull that, which I think is wonderful. But there's just so much behind that in my belief system too. You know, my mom, and she has graced me with the honor of being able to share her story in my journey as well. But, you know, she was sexually abused from the age of 5 to 12. And it wasn't light abuse. And I don't think there's ever such a thing, but, it was a pretty heavy thing for her.
Yeah, of course.
And she boxed it in and didn't acknowledge it until I was 30. Wow. So I was raised by this woman who had complete, massive trauma and terror about anything happening to me. And so sex was bad and it was wrong and you needed to hide it and don't do that. And if anybody tries to do anything to you, all of these things. So I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to do, and it's like ancestral trauma is some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We need to look at those familial patterns and look at what, where certain beliefs are stemming from. And I think that is a really smart thing to do for as women. And I'm such an advocate for men to do this work and to, to look at that. Where do your beliefs come from? Mm-hmm. And, the conversation's getting more blown open. It's people like you doing your kind of work and, fighting the good fight is important.
We're doing it, step by step. It's happening. And, I think a lot of men, women, and people they are waking up to the conversation and exploring, what does it mean to be a sexual being in the world? What does it mean to be in union or partnership or relationship with other people? And how are these influences from our history informing what we're doing? Because the majority of our behavior is unconscious. We are being run by our subconscious mind. And if we have these generational traumas that are encoded into our cells, encoded into our subconscious, we might not always know why we're doing the thing that we're doing, or why we said the thing that was dismissing, or why we have this big, no, sex is bad and wrong and not pleasurable. We might not know why all of that is there until we start unraveling it.
Yeah.
But it's such a tender thing to start opening and unraveling. We have to go slow. We have to ease in. You have to know your limit and your capacity. So it's almost like having consent with yourself first, knowing what's going on in your body. Does it feel good to continue this conversation? And even some people that might be listening, it's totally okay to press pause on a podcast if you're feeling yourself getting activated to tend to yourself, because one word can trigger a whole world of sensation in the body that may be yours. It might not be yours. It might be coming from your generational line, but you're still feeling it nonetheless. And it feels really real to you. And so we have to, begin that process of, the intimacy with ourselves and the intimacy with the consent of what, I'm loving this conversation, but I'm feeling myself getting really overwhelmed. I need to press pause, or I need to go take a nap, or I need to go have some water, or I need to stretch my body or move. And so we start, opening these conversations between me and you and so many others, so that there is that permission granted to go at a pace that feels right for us and our system, because no two systems are the same. As much alignment as we have between you and I, our systems are totally different.
Yeah.
And your experiences inform what your body has capacity for, just like mine inform what I have capacity for.
Yeah.
And even just in sisterhood like this, getting to know these really important parts of your story is so valuable in terms of me just holding a safer container in terms of our friendship. And if we all start doing this, inside of our, relational dynamics, and starting with the people that are safest to do it with, friends are the safest, and then as we go into our romantic relationships and our family relationships, those get a little bit more karmic, the deeper we go in terms of intimacy. And so if we start where it's easy, eventually we will get to the place where we have actual capacity to have a consent conversation in our relationship, or to have a consent. Can you imagine consent conversations with family members?
Oh yeah, I'm there, sister.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am there. I just talked to my mom. My mom and she's just the most miraculous angel that I have ever crossed paths with, that woman. She's so beautiful. And her healing has been wonderful to watch and to just witness her. But to be in the space together where I get to let go of the triggers and the patterns and the things that might show up to help to be a guide for my mom and my sister and our whole container of our family to learn about boundaries and to learn about consent together. And, my mom just last night was sharing with me, or the night before, she had a conversation with my grandmother, and my mom has a big, my grandmother, doesn't love her the way she wants her to. And she's healing through all of those deep rooted things for herself. But what she broke through was realizing how much of a trigger it is when my grandmother cries or she gets upset about something and my mom feels like she needs to comply with what she wants because she needs to be the protector and she needs to be the savior.
Yeah.
And, what she said to me, she was like, well, I told her, Mom, I have a boundary now. And what I want is that when I say that I can't talk about something, that we just let it lie. And I was like, I can't with you. It was such a huge breakthrough for her. And she was so proud of herself and just feeling the intimate connection that deepened between the two of us, because I have experienced that and I'm watching her do that. And she's sharing the depths of her soul with me and moving through those spaces. But you're totally right. Like, starting in a space like this with friendship and with the people closest to us to check in. I think the key word for me is honor. And when you honor yourself and you honor the people around you to such a degree, in that, and I use the word discovery with you. It's like I'm discovering, I had a guy I dated before. He's like, we're just learning each other. Like, you're just learning someone and you have to learn them. Otherwise, like what you said, we just put our past imprints on everyone. And it's like, I'm just going to look around the world and put everything into a box based on my subconscious beliefs. Like, you're like this and men are like that. And my family's like this and everybody's some kind of way. And when we actually get to start working through that and letting all of that go and completing the past and working through why we think what we think and why we do what we do, we actually have a chance at creating our lives. Intentionally creating, and that's the shit. And there's so many areas of my life. I live a created life, and if I'm going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I've totally worked through all my subconscious beliefs, and it's like, if anybody ever says that, please hang up the phone immediately, because it's not true. But there's even the area of relationship. There's been so much work that I've done, even in just the last year, where I'm like, I'm at the precipice of creating something like I've never created it before, because I was choosing people from a wounded space. I was, saying yes when I wanted to say no. I was stepping over my worth. I was being led by core values of acceptance and belonging instead of respect and emotional intimacy and all of those kinds of things. So it's cool to just dive deep into having an intentionally created life. It's beautiful.
I love that. If you were to give the audience one step or one thing that they could start playing with in terms of, really developing that relationship to consent in their own system, what would you recommend to them at this point in time?
I mean, what I love is I love to drop into my body and notice body sensations that come up, and naming the body sensation, where you feel it. When you feel something that doesn't feel like a hell yes, where do you feel it in your body? That's learning how things feel is a really good first step. And then doing a bit of an audit and writing things down is power. Like, what works and what doesn't work for me. And what works and what doesn't work, and just keep on connecting to that. I think that's a really powerful place to start, to really be able to owning your truth is the first step. Speaking it is another bag.
Yeah.
But let's just start off with getting the intel. collecting the intel. That's
Love
what you have
that.
to do first. Yeah.
I love that. And that can really, be used in any area of life. Like if you go on a first date with someone and then you take inventory after that first date, like what really worked for me, what didn't work so well, what might I need more of, and is there enough here to actually want to see this person again?
Totally. Yeah.
Like that's really go ahead.
I was laughing about this one first date that I had because I was like, oh gosh, this is just such an example. I know I'm kind of like going backwards a little bit, but the date ended with him dropping me off. We were at a restaurant, so he offered to drive me home, and it was cold, so I said yes. And I was feeling the vibe. I was like, okay, we're vibing, it's good. Drops me off, and there was a lot of chemistry. I wanted to kiss him. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to wait for that moment where I'm like, oh, is he going to kiss me or whatever? I was like, I want to kiss this person. I'm accustomed to asking for what I want. So I looked at him and I was like, can I kiss you? And he was like, oh, you don't have to ask. And then we kissed. And then he grabbed my throat a little bit.
No, he didn't.
Like kind of playfully, I guess. He did that. And then I was like, you're the guy that said I didn't have to ask. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. And then it was just kind of like, first of all, he knew really quickly, like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And I knew really quickly, you don't have a clue what it is to bring honor to an interaction like that. And, I've shared with you before, I bring compassion to this space.
Of course.
It's easy to get really triggered and activated and make the other person wrong. And while he has no shot to carry on with me moving forward, I can still communicate like, hey, here's what didn't work about that for me. And this is kind of how it impacted me. Yeah. And we won't be continuing on, but it's just hysterical, to be able to see that happening still to today. And it's just really important to pay attention to what works and what doesn't work for you, and noticing those things.
Yeah. And I love that piece that you just added in about delivering the feedback, because I think a lot of people don't deliver the feedback. And so for all he knows, like he's been doing that this whole time, maybe ever since he, started to date people.
Yeah. Just a light choke
in
the first makeout.
Yeah. First makeout, kiss to choke, like natural progression here. And for all we know, he's been doing that, and like no one has said anything.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't, like maybe for some people that felt like a yes, but then for other people that might feel like a no. And the people that it feels like a no to, if they don't express that, then that person can't take that information. They don't know what they don't know. And this isn't to like explain away or like make it okay that people do these types of things. But if we want behavior to change, that requires feedback about the behavior.
Yeah.
And the feedback has to be delivered in a way where that person can hear it. Yeah. Which means if we are using shame to deliver our feedback, it will not land, and the behavior will continue, and it'll probably get worse.
You got it. Yeah, I always say that too. Nobody is ever going to listen to you, and you will never cause change if you're making someone wrong when you're giving them the information. And also, I just want to say, like, stop ghosting people and not giving them the feedback. You've got to, it's scary and you don't want to make anyone wrong, but hey, here's what didn't work for me. And just delivering the information, and this isn't the connection I'm looking for, and I wish you the best of luck. Like it's I can copy and paste those texts. It's a simple delivery, but it makes a big difference to be able to cause that kind of change.
Absolutely. And it also energetically closes the loop for you.
Oh, yes.
Because when we ghost someone, it's an open energetic loop on our end. It's also for the other person, but like you accumulate enough of those, like your energy field is bogged up by all of these open loops, and you might really desire a relationship, but your energy field, when it introduces itself to someone else, they're picking something up in there that isn't totally clean. They're like, I don't know what it is, but like there's something's not quite right here, because they're feeling all of the interference. They're feeling all of those open loops, and probably their intuition is like, this person doesn't know how to communicate.
So true. Yes.
And so like our bodies are so intelligent, and especially the more in tune we get with our body, we're going to be able to pick up those nuances in someone's energetic field. We'll pick it up in their smile. We'll pick it up in their eyes. Like we'll pick it up in their body language. And like as if humans aren't the most magical creatures ever, that we have the capacity to do this. Like it's fucking phenomenal. But it does require us to be brave. And like it is a very courageous and vulnerable thing to say, I'm not actually interested in pursuing this any further. I wish you best of luck. Like that's literally all it takes. And if there's additional feedback as to why it's not a yes, and that feels safe to deliver, then deliver that. But, at the very least, in terms of respect and honoring our fellow human beings, like we took time out to invest physical time with each other. The least we can do is close the loop with honor and respect, even if it's not a yes for us. Like, even if they did something that was like, that is such a hard no, like, let's give them the feedback. Like, this is the reason why. And I'm not interested. I mean, I definitely have had times in my past where I did not do this very well.
Oh, same. Yeah.
And like, because my system would get so triggered and activated that I couldn't even handle being in conversation. So I understand why it happens.
I do get that too.
And I also really believe in humanity and like believe that we can be better, and we can be better to each other and to ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, girl.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's a journey. It's learning. And if it gets messy and you slip up and you trip and it doesn't work out how you thought and you didn't say the things that you wanted to say, that's okay.
Yeah. That's all.
We're on the journey. Yeah.
We all fuck it up. Like
that's right. That's right.
We do.
Always.
Okay, so now we've like gotten to the point in our conversation where we've covered a lot of ground already, but I have some rapid fire questions that we'll do to kind of seal our session here today.
Ooh, okay, fun.
Yeah, so I've got a whole bunch, and then I handpick these ones for you. Okay,
yay.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay. So what has pleasure been the portal for most recently in your life?
Okay. Pleasure has been the portal for I want to call it feminine expansiveness, my connection to my sexuality as magic in the world. Yeah.
Yum. Okay. I love that I picked these questions, and I obviously had no idea what you were going to say, but they all flow very well together based on what you just said. Okay, so what is one thing that is an instant turn on for you?
Gosh. I want to, now we're on the consent thing. It's like manners, consent, honor. That is just immediate. Like, doesn't matter if it's in a romantic relationship, friendship, whether it's with somebody that I'm working with a client, when there's honor and manners, like a please and thank you and a real like cordial thing. I love that. I love the honor.
Yeah. What are you most turned on about in your life right now?
My authentic expression and owning my craft right now is a space that I have only dreamed of. Like really my pivoting and my ability to be creative and express myself unapologetically, instead of thinking as a leader, I need to be in a pantsuit and I need to be exuding this kind of image. It's like, well, I'm also going to show up dancing in a bikini with messy hair. And that's my power today, babe. And I just love that. I love being able to do that.
I also love that as someone who gets to witness you on a regular basis. I love all the ways that you show up and that you're challenging the way that we think about leadership and like helping to expand that conversation, because it really does need to be expanded. First of all, like I'm done with being put in boxes, and like you can only be a legitimate leader if you don't express your emotion or if you wear a certain thing. Like, nah.
Not into it.
Not into it.
We're over that.
Yeah, we are
not doing that anymore.
So done with it. So done.
Yeah.
Who is someone that currently is inspiring you with their pleasure embodiment?
Yeah, I'm going to go with right now, my mom. That freaking soul, because she's learning on a really like beautiful level what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And it is one of the greatest joys in my life to be in partnership with her right now.
I love that.
Yeah, I just love her so much. Oh my God.
I love your mom too, and I don't even know her yet.
I can't wait for you to know her. She's magic.
Oh my gosh,
you will love her.
So sweet. I bet your mom and my mom would get along great, because all the things that you've said about your mom, I'm like, that's my mom too. Like, she's a fucking badass, and like she's crushing life, like 65, and like diving into like these deep emotional healing journeys. I'm like, yeah.
That's beautiful.
You are a goddess. You are incredible. Like, thank you for being my mom,
Yes. And let's bring them to Europe with us.
Okay. Well,
I just created that possibility. It's a little seed right now.
Yes. We'll do some pleasure hunting.
I love it.
Love it. Okay. So this is the final question.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
If you could whisper a nugget of pleasure wisdom to your 13-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Feel into what feels good. That was a real mo I just had with little Charlie. Thanks for that. That was a beautiful question.
You're very welcome. Thank you for answering that. And thank you for taking the time to be here in this conversation with me. Like, I can't believe that we've been jamming almost an hour already.
That's crazy. Time has flown. Let's take this offline and keep the discovery going.
Let's. And so for everyone that's listening who would like to connect with you, where can they find you? What are you up to? What do you want to share with our audience today?
Yes. Okay. So right now I've got a phenomenal program called Rebrand Your Life, which is a combination of online video curriculum and one-to-one work where you can take on actually rebranding your life, not like as a business, but like being who you are in the world and transforming that conversation for yourself and taking away more confidence and starting something new, whatever it might be. So it's a designed program. And you can also work with me one-to-one by application. I'm accepting a few new private clients for 2021. And I'm releasing a book, and I've got a book coming out. One of them is releasing at the end of this month called Creating Space. It's really a guide for increased pleasure, performance, and prosperity in every area of life. And then I've got another one called Boy Crazy that is coming out early 2021. And we're going to dive into all of this stuff that we talked about today.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. So you can find me at fierce_Charlie on Instagram. That is my active personal account where you can see all the sides, 50 Shades of Charlie. And you can look us up at www.fierceleadershipco.com.
Amazing. And
I will put the plug, babe.
I will put all of those links in the show notes. So if you feel like you want to go and get in on what Charlie is up to, that will be an easy click for you in the show notes. So go and give her some love. Go follow her. I'm so thrilled to have had you on today. Thank you for saying yes and for sharing your wisdom and all the pleasure alchemy that you're up to in the world right now. It's so inspiring to be in sisterhood with you.
Thank you. I have got all the love in the world. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you. And I can't wait for more times to come.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
bye,
have a great day. Bye.